These past couple of weeks have been absolutely insane in terms of Jurassic World Evolution 2 news. Whether that be because of the new gameplay, animations, new species, or even just pack hunting alone, we have an abundance of content to cover. A lot of this new content has sort of sparked to interest from obviously the gameplay previews that a handful of YouTubers got, and unfortunately I wasn't one of them, but that's besides the point. In today's video though, we'll be looking at Chaos Theory specifically. Of course I've done a video on this topic before, but I figured now that we've actually got hands-on footage, I can go more in depth on not just what we already know, but also what there is to still expect from Chaos Theory. But right before we get into it, if you do happen to enjoy this video, please consider liking and maybe even subscribing, as I do post daily Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2 content. So, first things first, what scenarios will we actually see from launch in Jurassic World Evolution 2? While I can't give a definitive answer, I do think I have somewhat of a rough idea of what they are. As I've already mentioned, a few YouTubers did get to play Jurassic World Evolution 2, and in Swrve's video specifically, we got to see this menu you get when you load up Chaos Theory. As you can clearly see, at launch we will have 5 main scenarios, each based off of their own respective movies. So I think it's safe to say my predictions were inaccurate to say the least, which to me is slightly disappointing. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, as well we haven't seen them fully in action, but I do definitely have a concern or two. Firstly, I don't really see how a Jurassic Park Chaos Theory could really differentiate itself from the Return to Jurassic Park DLC we saw back in Jurassic World Evolution. I mean, sure, they can give it a revamped story, but I just don't see much of an appeal. Although I would be somewhat satisfied if it's a movie accurate park we have to rebuild, then I might just change my opinion. Secondly, similar to the point I just made, would Return to Isla Nublar not just be a glorified Claire's Sanctuary? Assuming this is going by the canon storyline and there is an active volcano, you can't exactly build a park on Nublar. Plus, if we were building a park on Nublar, wouldn't that just be the Jurassic World scenario? This could be a massive vote for reaction, but hopefully you get my point. Anyways, on the more positive side of things, if you pay close attention to this same image, you can see all the scenarios have a sign that says, well, new. This does pretty much confirm that we'll be seeing more Chaos Theory in the future. If you're wondering how I can say this with such confidence, all you have to really do is put one and one together. We have a new Jurassic World movie in 7 months, and that does seemingly occur at a similar time to the Evolution 2 campaign, so I think, gathered by that alone, we'll probably see more Chaos Theory. So, moving on, let's go over Jurassic Park San Diego, as that's something I can sort of hit the nail on the head with. My first impressions have for the most part been, I'd say, a solid 9 out of 10. And let me just clarify, the fact I've given it a 9 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10 doesn't mean it's in any way bad before you'll come at me. I'd 100% give it a 10 out of 10 if it weren't for the fact I haven't played it myself. So I'll deliver my full verdict once I review the game in a month's time. Generally, the map we have to work with looks phenomenal visually compared to the first game. It actually feels, well, in this case looks natural, as opposed to the limits of Isla Nublar that got very repetitive and, as a console player, I'd say pretty boring. I also want to mention, I love the idea of having unlockable expansions. This goes to show that maps aren't going to be anything like what we're used to, and Frontier have in fact kept their word. Not only that either, the improved animations are just amazing. If you haven't seen it already, compies now have a little hop as opposed to just running around, and to my surprise it doesn't look overly stupid, unless of course it's in 3 times speed. And let's not forget the T-Rex animations. Frontier have outdone themselves. Like, the T-Rexes actually behave like animals, and you know, it's just crazy. They can play fight, they can eat together in an animation that for some of you I think you might recognise. I'm sorry this isn't much of a breakdown, but I can't contain my excitement. The hype right now is through the roof. The amphitheatre itself looks great other than a few inaccuracies, but I don't even care about them. It looks suited to the environment. You may also have noticed viewing galleries have another design which proves the theory that each era will have its own individual, I don't know, sort of design, I guess you could say. So I can imagine we might get another one, as there is obviously 5 movies in the franchise. It's nice to see so many new buildings being introduced, as it will give us all the opportunity to make some pretty unique parks, especially with mixed eras. Once again, I'll do a full coverage of Chaos Theory, the campaign, and just JW2 in general as soon as it comes out, but for the time being, what we've seen has been beyond my expectations, and I can't wait to see what's next.